Today we're talking about sales pages. So if you've been struggling to convert visitors into customers on your sales page, then today is perfect for you. If you wonder why some sales pages turn clicks into clients like magic, well, then this is going to be for you, because I'm going to break down for you 16 crucial elements that you need to have on your sales page that will make it more effective. So we're going to transform your sales page from an information page into a conversion machine. But before we create your sales page, you want to really decide if you want to create a sales letter style or a video sales letter. Now, a video sales letter is perfect for people who love to present, but maybe don't really want to have their face on the camera. So in essence, a sales letter, this is where you take some of the copy from your sales page and you turn it into a PowerPoint slide that you click through while reading what's on the screen. So essentially you're talking over the top of it. Then what happens is, instead of having to write a whole sales page, some people do really like to just watch a sales letter. So if you want to do that, you know what's great about it? Not like on Strategy with Sally here on a Tuesday where I've got to put the face on, I've got to brush the hair and the makeup and the clothes. You can do it in your PJs. No makeup, no face. Well, it doesn't really matter because your face doesn't need to be on the camera. Now, if you want to do a face to camera, you certainly can, but also, it really needs to be developed in a way that you're also comfortable with. So if you want to do a video, or maybe you just want to do a written sales page, it doesn't really matter. What you really need to ensure you do is that you have best copy for the audience that it suits. So that is really, really important. I've got a PowerPoint presentation for you today. This is actually a presentation that I put together for Kajabi many years ago, and I decided to pull it out of the archives and teach it for you today. All right, so let's head on over to the PowerPoint. So the types of sales pages that you want to start thinking about, first off, is, are you going to do a long form sales page or a short form sales page? All right, now they're as you can imagine, one's longer, one's shorter. A longer page works better for high ticket offers because it shows more value. And you can also, if you're using Kajabi, you can have some beautiful animations where pictures flow in on the screen for you, on your landing pages and sales pages. It makes it look more professional and a little more expensive too. So, if you're asking someone to spend $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, you want a sales page that also looks like the value of the product that you're selling. All right, so let's talk about the differences between a long form sales page and a short form sales page, and which one is better for your conversions. Now, it would be great if this question had a simple answer. But of course, with most things when it comes to sales and marketing, there's always lots of pros and cons. But for a short form sales page, a long form sales page, you have more opportunities to convince the buyer to buy, right? The advantages is many marketers swear by a long form sales page, as it gives you plenty of room to share what you love about your product and service, plus how great they are also for SEO as well. So some advantages, of course, is more opportunities to convince the buyer why they should buy from you. Also, it gives you the chance to address and overcome objections. And also, more copy on the page will help with SEO. And it also gives you space to add multiple call to action buttons as well. So people might only read part way through and then they can still click on that call to action button. Now, some disadvantages of a long form is potentially there could be overload when it comes to all the information that you're providing. And possibly it could be boring, right? Your buyer could actually get bored or irritated by all the information that they read. Now, the short form sales page, the advantages and disadvantages are like different from a long form, of course, because they're shorter, right? They can get the content quicker. And now a lot of short form sales pages are more for those kind of lower ticket offers. So you could use them on your tripwire pages, your thank you pages, any of those kind of lower ticket offers. A short form sales page, it makes more sense, right? So ask yourself, what would work best for your product? Now, some advantages, of course, is it can convert visitors quickly and simply. Also, if you use your copywriting well, you can really put in those benefits and features into a few key points. And you can also keep all the information above the fold, right? Just a few key benefits and features, so it saves them from the scroll. Now, some disadvantages of a short form page is that your visitors may have more questions than you've actually answered on that page, or you might leave out information that might otherwise convert customers, and also fewer opportunities for SEO with a shorter form sales page. Now that you know what you're going to promote, it's really time to think about 5 major questions so you can get your shoes walking in the right direction of your market. I want you to start to think about what they feel, what they talk about, what's their language, so that you can serve them better with your copy. And in the end, the goal is you getting to know them, understand them, and also they will build that know, like, and trust factor with you. So I want you to start thinking about and brainstorming out things that come to mind when we cover these 5 questions, so that you can really start to get your copywriting sort of brainstormed out first before you start putting your page together. So question number 1 is, why now? Why are they reaching out to you? Why do they want your offer or your training guide or your webinar? What is the because? Why do they need you? And who are you talking to? Okay, so what are their dreams? What are their desires? What are their fears, problems, and frustrations? Why are they experiencing this right now? Because you need to truly understand them so that when you put your copywriting together, you're speaking their language. Now, you also need to ask, why should they even care, right? What's in it for them? How specifically is taking that next step going to make their life better? Okay, so I want you to start to think about, what are the benefits that your offer gives them? So think about all the features. So features are the tangible things like one-on-one sessions, an online course, workable PDF books, templates, copywriting, Canva graphics. Think of all these features, but what are the benefits of those features? Now, the way I like to work out features is I use those 3 magical words: so you can. So, for example, you get a one-on-one session every quarter, and that will help you so you can, and then insert the feelings and the emotions attached to that. And why you? Why are you the person for them? What makes you different from all the other people out there? All right. So now you've got all of this, I want you to also start to think about pulling together some social proof. Okay. What stories can you use within your copy? Maybe the testimonial videos or written testimonials also that you can add to that sales page, so that you can show them that other people have been through that experience and that, they're joining the right type of crowd, their tribe as well, right? Because when they can see success and you have that social proof, it is so much easier for other people to say how amazing your program is, for you to overcome those objections if they can see the proof, the testimonies and the stories that relate to your offer. So also make sure you're relatable when you're writing all of this, okay? Keep it super simple, okay? Keep it super simple. I'm going to say that again. I love to write copy like a 5th grader. So through this brainstorming section, when you're answering all of these questions, I want you to also start thinking about stories as well that you can include in your copy that make the reader feel extreme emotion. So remember, you may want them to gasp or cringe or giggle or feel challenged in some way. So some examples you can get that will, get your creative juices flowing could be like, why 2% of people suck. Right? It's because they don't follow through. Right? Why I don't do social media. Or maybe, is it just me? Are your business plans completely overrated? Right? I want you to write some things down that will elicit like oh yeah, that's me. Okay? So write, and just brainstorm. And this is brainstorming, right? Just write. Don't stop and think about it too much. Just start using those 5 questions to brainstorm copy. It will help you when you start putting the page together if you've got a whole reference resource tool that you can refer to as you're writing out your page. Okay? So remember also, I want you to write without fear of judgment because nobody else is going to see it, right? It's brainstorming. It's so important that you get that done. All right, now let's talk about 5 principles of good copy that converts. All right, so first off, it's storytelling. Of course, who are you talking to? Relate the offer to who you are going to help. Connect with your reader. Share experiences. How can you show them that you have been there too, or others have been there too? Elicit emotion, okay? Brainstorm out, as I said, different sentences that will elicit emotion in your reader, okay? And then, of course, what is one call to action? I see this so often. People on their sales page put too many options. One call to action, one simple path for them to click. Also add in some urgency and scarcity. So if you're going to close the cart or if there's a limited amount of spaces available, make sure you add that in as well. And what is your big idea? Okay, this final principle of a unique big idea is what makes you different. How are you different from everybody else out there? And one thing I really like to do when I'm helping our clients come up with their big idea is first get them to write down stuff about their competitors that they don't like. This is how we found like the VOZ is a very big, unique idea where I've got a staff member sitting in a Zoom room, right? 9 hours a day, 4 days a week, because I hate email tag and it takes forever to get a question answered, and people can just jump in and ask a quick question and be on their way. So start thinking about experiences that you have gone through and you have thought are maybe not quite up to par. And is that a gap that you fill? Okay. And then you start to make sure not only do you put it in your sales pages, but also in your emails, in your videos, in your sales letters, landing pages, and all the copy. Okay, so it's not just kind of a thing that when you're writing your sales page, that you're going to do in 5 minutes. Okay, and even coming up with your big idea, you're not going to get that done in 5 minutes. I want you to give it the attention that it deserves. Make sure that you really own it. What is it that makes you and your service truly stand out? All right. So that's the 5 principles of good copy. And just to recap, storytelling, okay? Who are you talking to? Make sure you're eliciting emotion. Only one call to action on the page. Add a little bit of urgency and scarcity, and make sure that there is one unique big idea or big thing that makes you different, that draws the attention into the reader. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next section where we're now going to dive into these 16 parts of a converting sales page. All right, you ready to get this started? All right, now, if you want to see some examples of sales pages, feel free to head to sparkleclassacademy.com and pick around on my website. Okay, now a lot of these strategies I've learned from people like Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson, Frank Kern. These people are the ones that I'm modeling, right? That's what we do for success, right? We model proven practices. Now, this is not a quick page to write, but remember, you're probably selling a program that could be 2K, 10K, or higher. So give it the time that it deserves so that you can craft it out. Do not let perfectionism get in the way. Okay, because you cannot sell a secret. So I need you to do this, okay? You need to give it the time, but not months or even weeks, okay? Like a couple of days, if that's as much as I'm giving you, okay? At the most. No perfectionism. You still got to get that shit done. All right, so the first step is I want you to think about your headline. So what's the first big thing that you see at the top of your page? This is the most crucial part of your sales page, because if you get it wrong, your visitors could leave really quick, right? So the best headlines are short and to the point. So I've put an example here on the page for you. It's a headline from a marketing expert, Neil Patel. I love his podcast. This is a sales page for a consultation with Neil. But that headline doesn't waste space, right? It says, do you want more traffic? Okay, it's simple. It tells you exactly what the page is going to tell you about. Now, if you need to add a little bit more kind of words to it, add a subheading to add a little bit more context to the message if it's a little bit more complex. So for us, it could be something like how to automate without tech overwhelm, right? So how you're automatically filling how are you automatically filling your calendar with prospects? Okay, so keep it super, super simple, but a nice, catchy headline that keeps them on the page. All right, so number one part is the headline. Okay, so a nice template I can give you for this is use how to and insert the benefit without pain point or problem. So that one that I gave you before, like how to automate your marketing without the tech overwhelm, or how to automate your calendar bookings without chasing people constantly. All right, so start to think about how to insert a benefit without a pain point or problem. All right, number two, the second part is to qualify and excite. So start off the next paragraph with a sentence like, if you'd like to, and then tell them why this page is going to be the most important thing that they read this year. The whole aim of this is to get them super excited and remind them that you've got something really cool, right? Some great advice, some awesome information that you want to share with them. It's not just a pitch at them, okay? So you're not just pitching. So number two, I clicked forward too fast, is to qualify and excite them. All right, number three is disqualify. So let's remove those clients that we also don't want to work with. At this point, it's time to truly disqualify people who simply aren't a good fit for you so that you don't waste your time on sales calls with people who really aren't a great fit, or getting people in your program who end up complaining because it isn't the right fit for them. This is a really powerful strategy, and I learned this from a book called 80/20 Sales and Marketing by Perry Marshall. He calls it racking the shotgun, right? It's in chapter 2, and he says that sales is not about convincing people, okay? It's actually about qualifying them. And 5 powerful disqualifiers that you can have is, do they have the money? Okay? Do they have, as Perry Marshall says, a bleeding neck? Like, is the pain point enough that they're going to pay? They won't pay for something that isn't painful. Okay, it's like if you want water, you're drinking water, it's because you're really thirsty and nothing else can quench your thirst, right? What is the bleeding neck? What is the biggest thing that they truly, truly want? And also, it needs to have a sense of urgency, okay? An immediate problem that needs attention right now. I'll give you an example. I was working with a client who helps breastfeeding mums. Now, she was trying to attract mums who are having their first baby. Now, think about it. When we had our first baby, don't you think it's all rainbows and unicorns? Sure, there'll be a few sleepless nights, but you don't start to think about how bad breastfeeding can be until you've been through it. And we found that the biggest bleeding neck was breastfeeding mums who maybe failed the first time, but really, really wanted to have that bond that breastfeeding gives you. So once we shifted from first-time mums, now it doesn't mean we didn't attract first-time mums, but our copywriting really focused on that bleeding neck, that big pain problem, a sense of I really, really want this. I don't want to miss out again. Okay. All right. So when you're doing your, what are we calling this one? This is the disqualifying one. Okay. This is where you'll see this on a lot of sales pages and you'll start to notice this is the words, "This is not for you," right? So when you're on the sales page, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember that now." It's very funny when you start now looking at sales pages with all of these key 16 things, you'll start to pick them out on other people's sales pages. All right, so think about what your competitors are doing as well while you're writing this, and what you don't like about your industry. And, I want this to really get rid of people who aren't the right fit for you, or rack the shotgun, right? Shoot them down. This is not for you. That's the words that you will begin to start that section of your sales page. So this is not for people who are just wanting to sit on their hands and do nothing. Or this is not for people who want somebody else to do all the work. Or this is not for people who just want to collect people's credit card details and not deliver top quality service. So start to think about your business and how can you use those major disqualifiers, okay, of money, urgency, the bleeding neck, so that you can get them to say yes. Another thing to think about is, do they have the ability to say yes? Right? Are they the decision maker? And does it fit well within their overall plans of their life? All right, so that's number 3, the disqualifying section. So let's move on to number 4. This is now where you've told them, hey, check out this page with a good solid headline. Okay, you've told them who it's for, who it's not for, and now you've lined up these people who you want to work with, and now it's time to present the offer. This is where you're going to introduce a new and an exciting opportunity for them to take action on. So this could be, the book or the tripwire, a low-priced course, a free consult even. Explain to them how your offer is different from anything else out there and how they will achieve the results using this. So this is where you'll reiterate again the core problem that your customer faces and break it down into solutions. Now, the more descriptive and unique you can get here, the better your description will be. So by writing a detailed description of each feature, you'll not only have an easier time convincing a potential buyer to convert, but also it can help you with SEO rankings, okay? So look at all the features and write about how they're going to help. Describe the ins and outs of your product so that you can give your potential customers lots of confidence that you're going to be able to help them. Just make sure as well that you can deliver on the promise that your product is making. All right, so that's number 4. You present the offer, create a list of features. So what are all the inclusions? And make a description that explains each of those. Now, if you're inside our program, we would have given you and helped you write your signature method, okay, and then the inclusions section. And you will refer to the matrix that we helped you put together for that. This is where we've got, your key benefits, the emotional benefits, and so have a look in that matrix that we put together for you for your signature offer, and that's truly going to help you put all of this together. All right, so number 5, who will this work for? So this is where you're not only going to make sure that you're honing in on your target market and that the right people are purchasing your offer, but at this point, we also need to explain who the offer works for or what is the best business model that this offer works for. So give examples here. Explain people that you've worked for or worked with in your business. Okay, number 6 is benefits. So if you've ever wondered how to write a sales page that converts, understanding these key principles of what the difference between a feature and a benefit is crucial to having a converting page. So here you want to explain all the benefits that your offer has. Now be careful not just to list them out as features, because this can sometimes be really tricky and it's easy to start mixing up the two. So try to think of your benefits, but start with those features, but what will it do for the people? Okay, what will it do for their business? The difference here is crucial. The difference it will make to their business or life. Basically, just how your offer will create a positive outcome. Okay, now you want to make sure that you don't use too many fancy words or industry lingo and speak while you're writing these as well. You know, if your people aren't using the word limiting beliefs, maybe you know that that's what they've got, but maybe they don't even know what it is yet. Don't use industry jargon, okay? Because you want them to be able to simply and easily look at the copy on the page and allow them to read it like a 5th grader. Focus on the benefits, not the features. Your benefits will often be listed on your sales page as bullet points. Okay, so whenever you think that you may have, nailed down a benefit, I want you to try and take it one step further and ask yourself, so your product or your service, will it save time or money or effort by your client? And then after that, what will your client be able to do with that saved time, money, or effort? So that's where the "so you can" statement comes in as well, right? So they've felt this amazing emotional or saved time or saved money or effort, so they can, and then that emotional connection to how it's going to make them feel. That is really, I guess, when you're thinking of benefits and features, benefits are really the emotional component of how they feel after they've used the features. All right, so let's now move into number 7. I just love to introduce bonuses. And this is what you can do on your sales page. It's such a strong way to add extra value and make sure that your prospects feel really loved up and excited to commit to you. Here's where you explain, what the benefits are of, again, the bonuses and how they will help your prospect. Now, make sure that they are also aligned, okay? Don't give away a time management training course and then give them something unrelated like an automation or an automated lead magnet. It's got to be congruent. So take time to expand out the benefits for each of the bonuses and break them down into details. So go into details about them, how it will help them, what difference it will make for them, so they can be confident in the value that they're getting from the bonus. So again, just like we've done for the core offer, the bonus section should also then explain what it'll do for them and how it will make them feel. All right, moving on to number 8, urgency and scarcity. Now, you really want your sales page to convert like crazy, right? Yeah? So you've got to use some kind of urgency. Human beings just hate missing out on anything. So a limited time, that fuels that FOMO, and it will increase conversions and sales. So you could have a time-based urgency where, cart is closing. Or maybe there's a discount that expires. So you've got like the early bird discount. Get it now, and because tomorrow it's going up. Or maybe there are bonuses that disappear after a certain amount of time. Also, with the scarcity-based urgency, this is where it could be limited spaces. So here inside of the Sparkle Class Academy, we can't accept more than a couple of people a month on our top level program. The reason for that is it takes up a lot of my personal time, those people that take our top level program. So, of course, there's a limited amount of spaces in that actual offer. So you can do the same on your sales page. You can add a countdown to the sales page. All right. Now, in Kajabi, under the events section, that's where you'll create a countdown and put that countdown timer on your page. And when it hits 0, it'll just automatically redirect to another page. All right. So that's urgency and scarcity. It increases conversions and it helps with that FOMO. Include time-based or limited numbers in that. All right, now, number 9, beautiful testimonials. All right, now, ideally, you can put pictures of your customers next to the testimonials, but if you can't do that, that's okay. There are some people that can't actually give face shots, and that's totally fine. There's a privacy thing there. Always get permission from people. But, at the end of the day, you could go on and on and on and on about how amazing you are. But if at one testimonial from somebody who's relatable will sell your offer better than you could because they're raving about you. It will sell better in just a few lines than what you could do just blabbing about it all day. Now, you want real testimonials, okay? They need to, really hold up your claims and give your potential buyer proof that your product and service will add value to their lives. Now, testimonials are really helpful in also helping the reader to overcome any lingering objections or worries that they might have for your product and whether or not it's a good fit for them. So this is a great way to address buyers' concerns using testimonials, all right? And if you can find ones that help address, time and money and, even their capacity to be able to follow through, they're amazing sorts of testimonials that you should be adding to your page. Now, we use screenshots. So if people are putting their testimonials on Facebook or Google or wherever, take screenshots. We screenshot our testimonials and, anything our raving fans do when we stick them all in a folder. Another thing we do is we ask our clients to do a live video and we can get those testimonials and then we pretty them up in Canva and pop them on the sales pages. Or another thing is maybe they don't have time to write a testimonial. Get them in and just ask them questions and record that and then transcribe it and ask them to approve the copy that you've pulled out from their video. Or, of course, you could edit the video as well. Now, here's a hot tip. When you're doing a testimonial video that you may actually be going to use the physical video, ask the person who you're interviewing to repeat the question you've asked them in their answer. Because sometimes you might say, what was life like before you joined our program? And they'll go, it was like, and there's no thing at the beginning that makes it super easy for the viewer to understand what they're speaking about. So then you would sort of prompt them to say, oh, before I joined, the program, life was like, and then they can fill in the rest with their testimony. All right, so I'll do another live next week on more around how to get testimonials. So join me next week as I show you what it's like, or how do we actually collect all the testimonials and the types of questions that we ask. All right, so that's testimonials number 9. All right, so let's move on to number 10. Now, one final statement at the bottom of your sales page, one area of your sales page needs to have some frequently asked questions. Now, this helps you to overcome objections. Okay, this one is super important to ensure that any question that you hear coming up all the time on your sales calls, if it's not covered in the copy, put it in the FAQ. Like, some common FAQs is, what if I can't attend the live sessions? Or, is there a payment plan? Okay, so just ask some of those that maybe don't work well in the copy, but they always get asked on your sales calls. Make sure you have an FAQ section at the bottom of your page. All right, moving on to 11. Now, we've written all of this sales page. And now what we do, okay, is we want to look over the page and make sure that you have number 11, scannable copy. Okay, so scannable copy, it's a combination of short and long lines. So once all your copy is ready to go, you need to make sure your audience can easily read it. And one of the most important design tips for any online copy is to make it scannable. This means breaking up the text, making the reader actually pause as they skim the page. In other words, there are no big, huge walls of text, okay, that people just look at and their eyes will glaze over and they'll take nothing in. So you want it to be like at a glance, your sales page should look like it's been broken down into easily digestible pieces. So the best sales pages include a combination of short and long lines. Okay, lots of short paragraphs, not big, thick walls of text. List out things using bullet points if you can. Use subheadings as well. Also, you could use like those little quotation marks. Really highlight a feature and benefit together in a quote. What I really like to do when I'm writing out my page, after I've written the page, is I want to scan through it and see if I don't read all the words, can I still make sense of what is being said on the page? Also, use a really easy to read font. It needs to be legible and large enough for those readers on small screens. So Google actually recommends a minimum font size of 16 pixels for a mobile device, okay? Now, if you've got Kajabi, in your settings area, you can set up the mobile font size as well as the desktop font size so that, if you did 16 pixels on a computer screen, it would be huge. But on a phone, it's actually quite small. All right, so that's number 11, scannable content. So let's move on to number 12. We're getting there. We're getting there. We've got 16 of these. So if you want your visitors to focus on your sales copy, you've got to use design to help them. And this happens by removing any distractions in your copy from the core purpose of the page. It needs to inspire the reader to click, okay, to convert, to make a purchase. The best sales pages have no sidebars down the side, often have minimal headers or footers, or potentially none at all, okay? Everything that's on the page is related to the offer that you're trying to sell. All header menus, okay? I recommend on your header menus that you get rid of them, okay? If you have a sales page on a website, but sometimes you're sending people to a sales page from an email, get rid of the top section of your website. If people want to go back to the main section, if they're exploring your website, they can just click the back button. But if you have all those buttons across the top of your sales page, like what's on your website, it gives them more things to click. They can click off your sales page and then start getting lost on your website and take no action. So remove as many of the distractions as possible, because you want the reader to read and then click that single call to action button. All right, moving on to number 13, dynamic layout. Now, Kajabi pages actually have beautiful layouts, okay? They've got this feature that allows images to kind of slide in or flip over. It keeps the visitor's attention. This is why it's important to mix up a little bit of design inside of your sales page. So what you could do is you could vary the placement of your images so that they're not all on the same side. So for example, if we were working through the features with the, what they're all included, each feature or step in your signature method, the images could alternate as you go down the page. So the first step, image on the left, copy on the right. Next one, image on the right, copy on the left. Did I say that right? I think so. I don't know. I did. Joanne's nodding her head. I did. Excellent. Also different elements, okay? So add some animations to the page. This is a great way to really attract the viewer's attention because things kind of flash up or slide in as you're moving on down the page. All right, so let's move in to number 14. This is where you want to use responsive design. So really what it means is it works on all screens. It's compatible with both desktop and mobile phones and iPads. So most of your visitors will probably tune in from a phone. So make sure when you're setting up your page that you're checking both. That's where responsive design comes in. It'll make sure that your page sizes look good, no matter what size screen the visitor is on. Now, Kajabi allows you to look at the differences between a desktop, a phone, and an iPad. And you should also have the ability to turn certain elements on or off. So, for example, remember where we were just then talking about having, an image on the right and then text on the left, and then the next section down, image on the right, image on the left and text on the right. If you think about it from as you're scrolling down a phone, that wouldn't look good because it would go image, text, text, image, image, text, text, image. So when you design inside of Kajabi, you actually can click a little button that says move image to the top. So it goes image, text, when on a mobile device. So make sure you do have the ability to turn certain elements on or off, whatever software you are designing your sales pages in. All right, so that's number 14, which is using responsive design. All right, we're getting there. We've got 2 to go. Number 15, pricing. So when it comes to your pricing, you want a one-off payment. Now, with this one-off payment, it needs to be cheaper if they pay upfront, okay? And you also want to give them a multi-pay option. So when we create a multi-pay option, we always add 20%. You can add 10 to 15, up to 20% more if they use the multi-pay option. That way, you get more cash flow up front if people take the one-off pay option. Now, you can also do a tiered model. This is what we also have. We've got a tiered model where we've got a done with you and a DIY option. And if you've got a program that you want to have a subscription in, so like we've got Sarah, who's a dog trainer, she has a subscription model. Anthony and Melissa, they teach people to cook and to, feed busy families. They've got a subscription model. So that's great for ongoing reoccurring revenue. But then also think about that annual option if you're on that subscription model as well. Okay, so when we say we want one call to action, it's one call to action to buy, but also you want to either have an upfront or a multi-pay, okay? Or you can have a tiered pricing where they get less depending on, you got your top tier, and then as they move to the tiered levels, it's not different, it's just less, okay, as they move down the program. Or if you've got a subscription, have a monthly and an annual option as well. All right, let's move on to number 16, which is the big thing that makes the cha-ching. It's the call to action. Now, through your sales page, you can have multiple call to actions button. Look at any of the sample pages that we've got. You will see at least 3. Okay, one above the fold, one part way down, and one right at the bottom. It's the last thing they see. But depending on the length of your page, you can have even more than that. It's also a great way to break up the text as well. Having multiple calls to action button are almost like a spacer on the sales page as well. But the purpose of this is to make it super easy for your visitors to buy at whatever point they have become convinced through. So at least you'll have a call to action button at the top of the page, somewhere in the middle, and right at the bottom. And make it compelling, okay? Why should they buy? So as you scroll down the page, the more CTAs they see along the way should be pushing them towards the sale. So what makes a good CTA? So with a CTA, it shows them the benefit of clicking, okay? I need this now. Give it to me now. Use action words, power words. Highlight the value on that button. I want in, okay? That's what they want, the benefit. I want to save time. They click the button, they join your time management program, right? Okay, so that's your call to action. Make sure you Google power words, okay? There are some great action and power words that you can put on your call to action button, which will help to prompt them to click that button. Also, make sure that your call to action button stands out. Okay, so it needs to pop and really stand out from all the other colors on your page. Okay, so that it's pretty obvious that's where you want them to click. All right, there we go, guys. That is the 16 things that you should put onto your sales pages. Hopefully that's been really helpful for you. Go ahead and